Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Okay, so, I have a friend that works for the State Department. No, he doesn't know about all the other stuff that people always want me to ask questions about. Me and him speak geopolitics. We just talk about all the ongoings of the different countries around the world. Now, he had spent a lot of time in the Middle East. That's how come in my videos I was able to tell people because I asked permission. But I was telling people that Trump was working on a peace in the Middle East and it was going really well long before it was announced. But so I was happy about it, and I thought, man, he might be the one guy to pull it off. Unfortunately, he didn't have enough time to make it come true. So I hadn't spoken to him in months, and he's also the same guy that said, hey, by the way, that QFS system thing is real, but didn't give me any dang information. I mean, he didn't have any details he could share with me, and it just put me between a rock and a hard place because I usually don't speak about something that I can't prove. And that's why I've been on a hardcore mission ever since. So, he was just calling me up to give me condolences on the passing of my mother and my sister. And so as we're talking, I say, hey, are you still out there in the Middle East? And he is. And I asked him, what is the latest and the greatest? And it's bad over there, man. He said there is a lot of pressure going on with putting together the government that Sauder wants. And he's too stubborn and he's not giving in. And I asked him about news, what is out there? Because I don't really see anything talking about it. So I got an article here I'll share with you that talks about it just a little bit. But this is what I'm talking about. Whenever we're talking about the Iraqi Dinar exchange rate, these are some of the problems that prevent this from happening. So all this time, we're sitting there going, Chapter 7 and the United Nations Security Council and the IMF and the whole 9 yards. But the biggest reason why no major changes have happened yet is Iraq's own government. Between Maliki and all his corruption, ISIS coming in there, doing what they did for the short period of time, it's just been one hurdle after another. And I asked him about Al-Qademi and what he thought of him. But I also asked about Halabasi, and I was shocked to hear some truths about Halabasi. I always said that he's kind of hard to read. I don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy. Just like I asked about Sauder. He's like, Sauder's not a big fan of the United States, but he's not a big fan of Iran either. So there's the one saving grace, I think, is he is a nationalist. He's all about Iraq and Iraqi people only. But if push comes to shove, you know dang well he's going to side with Iraq. And I said, yeah, I figured. And especially if it's against the United States. So we did a bad job of going in there. We create regime change and we promise reconstruction, but never assist in the reconstruction. This opens the doors for other countries to come in and take over, like China, like Russia. So when it comes to increasing the value of the Iraqi dinar, doing things that's necessary to support the strength of the dinar, doing things that are necessary to rebuild the country, infrastructure, to strengthen the economy, all these things play a key part of the value of the Iraqi dinar. There's too much corruption in there still after all the work that Al-Qademi's done. And by the way, the word is he's done one hell of a job, but it's still not done. Their lives get threatened all the time. Right now, Iran is on the verge of losing its grip on Iraq, and they are not happy about it. As a matter of fact, one of these articles, you're going to see how unhappy they are about it. So let's get into this. Before we get started, hit the thumbs up button. And if you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. Right now is a good time to be buying gold and silver with so much unknown happening around the world. You definitely want to be protected. Gold and silver is that protection, especially out of the system. If you're looking to buy some gold or silver or any other precious metals, go check out our friends over there at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you are a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and get a free ½ ounce of silver. So this is the article they sent me. He said, just check it out. And I said, all right. So you can see right here, exclusive, Iraq speaker under threat as Iran Turkey fight for influence. Yeah, you don't need this. In order for them to be a sovereign nation, they have to be making all their own decisions and doing everything for the people. Says Iraq's parliament speaker, Halabasi, has in recent days been threatened by Iran and its allies. The media has learned. Backed by the Sadr's bloc and the Kurdish Democratic Party, the KDP, Halabasi has come under fire after his speakership was renewed in January. The vote took place amid a walkout by lawmakers affiliated with the Iranian-backed Shiite Coordination Framework. Tehran and its partners are displeased with Sunni politicians for engaging with the Sadrists and the KDP to possibly form a national majority government, which would oust Iran's allies from the next administration in Baghdad. Now remember, Iran wants to turn Iraq into an Islamic state. Keep that in mind. The threat against Halabasi comes as he was, on February 26, notably photographed alongside Turkey's president Erdogan and Turkey's spy chief Fidan. Fellow Iraq Sunni politician Kanjar was also seen in the picture, which was taken in the city of Istanbul. Now, can you imagine this? These people are threatening your lives, and you have to stand there and take a damn picture with them? Yeah, they can go piss off. That's what I would tell them. So it's a short article, and you could see what it's saying is that Halabasi, you remember, they got the 3 alliances there, all trying to work together. Sadr is not backing down. He's not going to let Maliki in there. He's not dealing with those corrupt people, and he wants them investigated. That's going to happen. The question is, what's going to happen first? The assassination of Halabasi and Sadr and Talabani before things get accomplished? Because that's how serious these guys are. Iraq is trying to become an independent country all over again. And they're going to exercise their sovereignty. And they went around and chased America out of there. And they honored it. And they shouldn't be there anyways. But remember, Turkey, these 2 countries, Iran and Turkey, can be a major threat to Iraq. When we talk about the Iraqi dinar and it getting reinstated, these are the type of things that are going to keep it from being reinstated. I showed you already that Iraq has to have a stable government, a stable and secure country without protesters and everything. They have to have an economy that isn't just reliant on oil alone. You can't just go, well, oil, man, they got plenty of oil, man, they got trillions of dollars, Pimpy. No, so what? And then if oil drops down to $2 a barrel, then what? They have nothing. They have to rebuild their infrastructure. They have to rebuild the private sectors. Now, they're working on that currently, and they're doing a great job, but it has to be quicker, man. Meanwhile, we still have to get a government assigned there. That's another issue. You have to have a stable government. That's not a stable government. When they can't, the election was in freaking October. This is March. They still have not formed their government. So you can't say that, hey, Iraq is stable, the economy is good because they got $128 a barrel, by the way, now in oil. So yeah, they're getting money out the yin yang. They don't have to pay Kuwait no more. That money comes back to them. Oil prices have gone way up. They should be able to pay off their debt. But none of that does any good if they cannot have a secure, established government that can be trusted without corruption, without a secure, stable country. You want outside investors to feel comfortable about coming into Iraq to invest. But if you have to worry about all these other conflicts that are going on, that's trouble. So this article highlights the kind of issues that are going on with just doing something as basic as getting a government established. According to the Constitution, the president was already supposed to be in office. And the president selects who the prime minister is going to be, then they vote on it. And then the prime minister creates his cabinet. We don't even have a president yet. October, that's when the election was. So I know everybody out there thinks it's real easy. Hey, Pimpy, we'll just pull this one out of our butt and boom, reinstate the rate. No, it don't work that way, man. There's too many other factors. Iraq does not need this headache. Halabasi doesn't need to be threatened. We already know they attempted an assassination on al-Qademi. That's to show you how serious they are. And when Al-Qademi first got into office, he was going to investigate Maliki, and what happened? They killed his best friend. You heard Al-Qademi. He knows who tried to kill him. He just left it silent. He's trying not to rock the boat. So this isn't good at all. Let's take a look at something else that's going to be putting a lot of pressure on Iraq.
Banning Russian oil could have catastrophic consequences for the global oil market, Russian Deputy Prime Minister Alexander Novak has warned, and could send crude oil prices up to $300 per barrel. Novak's warning comes as both the U.S. House and the Senate agreed on a bipartisan deal that would pave the way to ban Russian oil and gas.
It's a political nightmare, obviously, because gas prices will go up, and that's always terrible for a sitting administration. But if you really do want to get at a major creator of Russian revenues, you could do no better than to hit on oil and gas. It's really what has powered the invasion, and it powers the Russian government. And when you hit that, it really matters.
But while the White House has mulled over enacting a ban on Russian energy and has discussed the matter with European countries, it has been unwilling to slap sanctions on Russia's energy sector.
Besides the fact that oil would shoot through the roof, of course, that would help Iraq in a big way, but we're going to get into their part of this story. $300 a barrel. All this because we have to import our own oil. When Trump was in office, we had all these pipelines going, and we were the biggest exporter of energy. Now we're the number one importer because of this anti-Trump rhetoric has put us in this position. Had they just left things alone the way Trump put it, the economy would have been better. Gas prices wouldn't be so bad. We wouldn't be in this predicament altogether. So with all this going on with Russia at this moment, that means what we have to turn to? Iraq. Yeah, Iraq. This is a new test for Iraq's democracy and stability. The 2021 elections was hopeful, but forming a government, including minorities, remains uncertain. Yeah, we know that. The sudden crisis around Russia threatens democratic norms and energy markets worldwide, only heightening the urgency of a stabilizing Iraq. See here? They say stabilizing. In other words, they don't view them as stable. This is heightening the urgency of stabilizing Iraq. The world's fifth largest oil producer, yet 5 months after the Iraqis' election held in response to massive protests against ineffective governance, political factions remain dangerously deadlocked in an effort to form a new government, shaping a more stable, peaceful Iraq, and responded to the 2019-2020 grassroots demands for a democratic, accountable government. Will require a fuller inclusion of Iraq's ethnic and religious minorities. Yet the prospects remain unclear. Iraq's minority communities are watching carefully as their future depends on it. Even in this article, it's telling you that Iraq needs stabilizing now more than ever. So the pressure is there. And you know how Sadr is. He's a nationalist. He doesn't want any outside influence. But it's going to start getting to the point where these countries feel like they need to pressure Iraq even more. I don't see Sadr giving in. Not at all. So this article goes on to talk about why it is that they need a more diversified government. Because since 2003, we know the Shia people have been controlling the government, and they've experienced nothing but hardship in Iraq ever since. We know Maliki destroyed Iraq's economy and really set them back to the point where Sistani said, hey, we need to go in there and reestablish honor and prestige for the Shia people. And that's exactly what Sadr's trying to do. An all-inclusive government, and it's not being embraced very well by Turkey nor Iran. So when I'm explaining to you why it is the rate won't be reinstated, the biggest portion of it has nothing to do with outside people. It has something to do with their own government not getting their crap together. And you can see why. I remember somebody left a comment, and I apologize, I don't remember the name, but said, hey, these people have been fighting with each other for a very long time. It's going to be very hard to unify them. And it's a perfect example of it right here. Is Sauder going to get his way? Because he seems pretty determined about it. We know Iran wants Maliki in there. Sauder's not having Maliki in there because he plans on investigating him and punishing him for all the corruption while he was in office. Anyways, I just wanted to bring this to your attention. You can see the hurdles that we got to get past. One of them is making sure that the country is stabilized, especially the government. It's great that the oil prices are going up. It does no good if the people are protesting and the money's not being invested into infrastructure, private sectors, and you're getting people off the unemployment, getting them back to work. And another thing is, it does no good if you can't even get your own dang government established. Anyways, that's it for now. Let me know what you think. If you haven't already, hit the thumbs up button. If you are not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. And I'll catch you later. I'm out.